Today, our topic is in the Stoics' Guide to Managing Expectations. Life is full of surprises, both good and bad. Sometimes things go exactly as we planned, and other times they don't. The problem is not that life is unpredictable, it's that we often expect it to be predictable. We want things to go our way, and when they don't, we feel disappointed, frustrated, or even angry. This is where Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, can help. Stoicism teaches us how to manage our expectations, so we can live a more peaceful and fulfilling life no matter what happens. Let's start with understanding what expectations are. Expectations are the ideas we have about how things should be. For example, you might expect to get a promotion at work, or you might expect your friend to always be there for you. These expectations are not bad in themselves, but they can become a problem if we cling to them too tightly. When we expect something to happen and it doesn't, we suffer. The Stoics believe that much of our suffering comes from wanting things to be different than they are. So, how can we manage our expectations? The first step is to recognize that we cannot control everything. The Stoics divided life into two categories: things we can control and things we cannot control. Things we can control include our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Things we cannot control include other people's opinions, the weather, or whether we get that promotion. When we focus too much on things we cannot control, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Instead, the Stoics advise us to focus on what we can control. For example, you cannot control whether your boss gives you a promotion, but you can control how hard you work, how you treat your colleagues, and how you react if you don't get the promotion. By focusing on what you can control, you reduce your chances of feeling disappointed. Another important Stoic principle is to practice Amor Fati, which means love of fate. This means accepting whatever happens, good or bad, as part of life. Instead of fighting against reality, we learn to embrace it. This doesn't mean we should stop trying to improve our lives or achieve our goals. It simply means we should not be attached to specific outcomes. For example, if you are preparing for a job interview, you can do your best to prepare and perform well, but you cannot control whether the interviewer likes you or chooses someone else. By accepting that the outcome is not entirely in your hands, you can approach the situation with a sense of calm and detachment. The Stoics also teach us to prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. This might sound pessimistic, but it's actually a very practical way to manage expectations. When we imagine the worst-case scenario, we realize that even if it happens, we can handle it. This reduces our fear and anxiety, and it also makes us more resilient. For example, if you are worried about losing your job, imagine what you would do if it actually happened. Would you find another job? Would you cut back on expenses? Would you ask for help from friends or family? By thinking through these possibilities, you prepare yourself mentally and emotionally, and you realize that even the worst-case scenario is not the end of the world. Another key Stoic idea is to focus on the present moment. Often, our expectations are tied to the future. You expect to be happy when we achieve a certain goal, or we expect to feel fulfilled when we have more money or a better job. But the Stoics remind us that the future is uncertain, and the only moment we truly have is the present. By focusing on what we can do right now, we can find meaning and satisfaction in the present moment, rather than constantly chasing after future expectations. For example, instead of waiting for the perfect job to make you happy, focus on doing your current job well, and finding small moments of joy in your daily life. Gratitude is another powerful Stoic tool for managing expectations. When we focus on what we already have, rather than what we lack, we cultivate a sense of contentment and peace. The Stoics believe that true happiness comes from within, not from external circumstances. By practicing gratitude, we train ourselves to appreciate the simple things in life: a good meal, a kind word, a beautiful sunset. This shift in perspective helps us let go of unrealistic expectations and find joy in the present moment. For example, instead of expecting your partner to always understand you perfectly, be grateful for the times when they do show understanding and kindness. It's also important to remember that life is full of ups and downs. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of controlsome things are within our power, and others are not. When we accept this truth, we become more resilient and less affected by external events. For example, if you fail at something, instead of feeling like a failure, you can remind yourself that failure is a natural part of life and an opportunity to learn and grow. By managing your expectations and accepting that not everything will go your way, you can navigate life's challenges with greater ease and grace. Another Stoic practice is to reflect on the impermanence of life. Everything changes, our circumstances, our relationships, even our own selves. When we remember that nothing lasts forever, we can appreciate the good moments more fully and let go of the bad moments more easily. This doesn't mean we should stop caring about things or stop trying to achieve our goals. It simply means we should hold our expectations lightly, knowing that change is inevitable. For example, if you are enjoying a happy moment with your family, savor it fully, but also remind yourself that it won't last forever. This awareness can help you appreciate the moment more deeply and let go of it more gracefully when it passes. Finally, the Stoics teach us to focus on our own character and values, rather than external achievements. They believe that true happiness comes from living a virtuous life, being honest, kind, courageous, and wise. When we focus on becoming the best version of ourselves, rather than chasing after external success, we find a deeper and more lasting sense of fulfillment. For example, instead of expecting others to praise you for your achievements, focus on living with integrity and doing what you believe is right. This shift in focus helps us let go of unrealistic expectations and find peace within ourselves. In conclusion, managing expectations is a key part of living a Stoic life. By recognizing what we can and cannot control, practicing acceptance, preparing for the worst, focusing on the present moment, cultivating gratitude, reflecting on impermanence, and prioritizing our own character, we can reduce our suffering and find greater peace and fulfillment. Life will always be unpredictable, but with the help of Stoic principles, we can navigate its ups and downs with resilience and grace. Remember, it's not about having no expectations, it's about holding them lightly and being prepared for whatever comes your way. This is the Stoics' guide to managing expectations, and it's a powerful tool for living a happier and more meaningful life.